Alrighty, now the Patriots at the Dolphins here. And yeah, the Dolphins get the win, which is a great story to talk about. Dolphins win 33-24. Patriots can't win their last game of the season. Tua, not the greatest performance, only 15 of 22 for only 109 yards. Duke Johnson is probably going to be the future here of Miami at the running back position. 25 rushes for 117 yards and a touchdown. Shout out to Phillip Lindsay, 11 rushes for 40 yards as well. But obviously the bigger news here is that the Dolphins have fired Brian Flores, and now Twitter and social media is in a big ol' uproar. Now, a lot to unpack here with the decision to fire Brian Flores because nobody saw it coming. I didn't even see it coming. Did I want Brian Flores fired? I like Brian Flores. The man is a smart mind in the NFL. Great defensive mind. One of the best defensive minds, I would say, probably in all of the current NFL. Now, we ran into some issues here with Brian Flores at the head coach because Brian Flores being the head coach, folks, the offense was always a second thought, an afterthought about this Dolphins team. Brian Flores was just focusing 1,000% on the defense, and that was showing the entire year, folks. The offense always such lackluster here for the Dolphins. No support of Tua, no kind of, support or just kind of encouragement of Tua. The Deshaun Watson kind of, rumors all year long. Brian Flores never putting that to rest, never putting that to bed. So it truly seemed like Brian Flores did not really want Tua here. And when Tua's kind of so far the face of the franchise, getting it done with that deadly accuracy, at some point, the owners and the general manager maybe not seeing eye to eye the direction that Brian Flores wants to take this team, because it did seem like Brian Flores did not want Tua to be the quarterback for this Dolphins team. So, Brian Flores, I want this man to be the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins, definitely, but that's not going to happen. I don't think Brian Flores is a head coach in this league, folks. I mean, it's really hard to be a defensive-minded head coach and be great as a head coach. It's really tough. I mean, even just kind of look at, who's these, who the playoff teams are this year. We get the Tennessee Titans, the number 1 seed, Mike Vrabel, a little bit of a defensive-minded head coach, a little bit of the exception to the rule here, him and Bill Belichick. But the one thing about this Tennessee Titans team is the offense was never an afterthought, a second thought. Mike Vrabel was actively helping out the running game when Derrick Henry went out. Could you imagine if, Tua went down for the Dolphins? I mean, the offense, Brian Flores wouldn't give a damn about it. He'd be like, okay, so throw Jacoby Brissett out there. He could get it done. He could do the same things Tua could do, no problem, easy peasy. And don't worry, because the defense will take care of whatever the offense doesn't. And we know that's not the case because they started the season 1-7. And then we get Andy Reid with the Chiefs, offensive-minded head coach. Sean McDermott with the Bills. I don't know what the hell he is, but he's not that impressive to us anyway. This Bills offense was still struggling last week. The Bengals with Zach Taylor, offensive-minded head coach. Look at what this Bengals offense has been doing. The Raiders, Rich Bisaccia is really, just a fill-in for the coach, but they still got Derek Carr. Derek Carr taking you to the Super Bowl. Or at least the playoffs as of right now. The Patriots, obviously Bill Belichick is the exception to the rule for everything. And then Mike Tomlin for the Steelers. The offense is really bad there. Once again, Mike Tomlin, a little bit of defensive minded, but the offense is severely lacking, obviously with Big Ben. And then in the NFC, Packers, Matt LaFleur, offensive minded head coach. Bruce Arians, a little bit of a hybrid defensive, offensive, but you got Tom Brady. So does that really count? Dallas, Mike McCarthy, offensive minded head coach. Sean McVay for the Rams, offensive-minded head coach. Cliff Kingsbury, offensive-minded head coach. For the 49ers, we get, what's-his-face? Kyle Shanahan, offensive-minded head coach. For the Eagles, offensive-minded head coach, and Nick Sirianni. So it's like, what do we got? 1, 2, everybody in the NFC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I won't count Bruce Arians 100%. We'll leave him out just for the numbers. So 6 in the NFC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 in the AFC, so we got 10 out of the 14 teams in the playoffs all have offensive-minded head coaches. So Brian Flores, I don't think he deserved to be fired. That win over New England, I mean, he beats New England. That's real hard to do, and he gets it done. So I don't understand the only reason why it would make sense to fire Brian Flores is that he wanted to move off of Tua and nobody else did. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. There's no real kind of concrete information. Everyone's just kind of saying, oh, thanks for the time, no hard feelings, thanks for the time. I mean, we get these tweets here that we can maybe try to decipher a little bit. Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, says, quote, different people rub people different ways. I had to look at it in what it is, totality, and its whole totality. So once again, hey, different people rub people the wrong way. Brian Flores, maybe with Tua and Chris Greer, the general manager, just not all seeing eye to eye. And then their elevator, the Dolphins always put an image from their last game on their elevator for the week, and they put Tua. Tua had a lot of swagger. He was running the ball a lot here and throwing up some first down signals, and I love that from the kid. It was fantastic to watch. So once again, maybe Tua kind of knew Brian Flores was on his way out, was feeling good this game. This was the most I've seen Tua run and the fastest I've seen Tua run all year long. Tua 5 rushes for 38 yards, and we've been saying all season long, I don't want Tua to even think about running the ball. And here he is looking kind of free, playing loose, and playing really good running the ball. So Tua's on the elevator this morning. Brian Flores is out. And then we get this. This is unconfirmed source here on Twitter. But we get this tweet right here. Tua and Flores had major words post-Titans game, per sources. And they said that they heard Tua dropped a rare F-bomb towards Flores. And now Flores is out. So that's really what it's truly seeming like. Brian Flores didn't want Tua. Everybody else in the organization did. So they decided to get rid of Brian Flores and ride with Tua. And I would say that's the right decision. Tua over Brian Flores. Brian Flores is a great defensive mind, but it's hard to stay great at defense in this league. It's one of the hardest things to probably replicate. Great defense year in and year out. So Brian Flores deserves to be a defensive coordinator anywhere. I wouldn't really see him I don't want this dude as a head coach, folks. We've been saying this all year long. I don't think he is kind of head coach material. And, once again, going back to our our segment that we did last week of just stop trying to be the guy. Not everybody is the guy. Build something. In NFL teams don't get credit. Super Bowl champions don't get credit for one guy. It's everybody. Yes, everybody kind of likes to kind of give it to, yes, the head coach and the quarterback as kind of the main duo, but it's still everybody else putting in the work to earn that Super Bowl ring, trophy, all that. So just stop having to be the guy. You don't have to be the guy. You can be a piece of what makes the whole machine run. Be the great defensive coordinator like Dan Quinn now in Dallas. He has rejuvenated his career because he wasn't a good head coach, but now that he's a defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, they're back to winning, the NFC East and all that, and having a home playoff game because of why did I just blank out his name? Because of, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. Why am I blanking on the name? How frustrating is that? So stop trying to have to be the guy. Brian Flores, just be a defensive coordinator. And hopefully the Dolphins would be like, hey, or hopefully the Dolphins said, hey, do you want to be a defensive coordinator for us? We're going to fire you from head coach, but do you want to step down and be the defensive coordinator? Brian Flores is a great defensive coordinator, great defensive mind. I don't want him as a head coach. So that's what the Dolphins did. Now, looking for a replacement for the Dolphins, I would like to see Doug Peterson. We've been wanting to see Doug Peterson back in this league ever since he left last year. So we'll see who the Dolphins decide to get at head coach. It better not be Urban Meyer. I'll just say that. But Dolphins get the win 33-24. Patriots lose their last game of the year. Unfortunate.